We've been having a series of guests come through the studio over the last few weeks because guess what? 11 days from now, there's an election in Twin Falls. Actually, it's election day across most of the country, but we're dealing with local elections because it's an odd year. That is 2015. Even years, of course, you have a lot of state elections and you have a lot of elections on the national level. But these elections, we've been telling people, obviously, they're the most grassroots. They are the closest to you because decisions made at the city and county level will generally have more of an impact on your life than anything that happens in Boise or in Washington. 7 minutes after 9 o'clock, Bill Colley with you this morning on Top Story. The temperature 45, and you're listening to News Radio 1310, KLIX, and newsradio1310.com online. That means you can listen live anywhere all over the world. Neil Christensen joining us in studio. First of all, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Bill.
This is your first real political outing, I guess. You're challenging an incumbent in this race.
This is my second one. I ran 4 years ago, and I lost then.
Okay, so you pick up a little bit of knowledge about how the system works when you do it one time,
Yep.
and you hope to turn around and apply that in challenging Chris Talkington, right?
I hope so, yeah.
And he's a longtime incumbent. Right off the bat, a lot of people would say, why do you want to be a member of the city council? Because people are going to be calling you at home, and you don't get a lot of extra time that way, and so you're basically always on call in that situation.
You know what? I'm okay with that. I love Twin Falls, place that I chose to move my family to raise my family, and I want to make sure it's a great place to do that and for others as well.
And the city itself, a lot of people have made that same choice to move here. You can see it if you drive down Blue Lakes Boulevard.
That's right.
Tremendous development. And if you drive out certain streets and head out of town, you see housing developments going up. It's just like in every direction.
hmm
So we've got a lot of growth going on. Is that a good thing or a bad thing, or do we need to manage it or just keep an eye on it?
I think it's great. Managing, yes, is very important. We need to make sure that we have sustainable growth with water issues that we have in Southern Idaho. We are in a desert. Just need to make sure everybody's taken care of. Very important.
Right, right. And I remember talking at the county fair a couple of months back with our state agriculture director, and she said if we have another winter where we don't see a lot of snow, for instance, and certainly not a lot of rain, we will have water issues, serious water issues going into next spring.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
that would be the biggest concern, I guess, with development. Otherwise, building the roads and the tax base, that's a good thing,
That's
right?
a good thing. Yes, that's right.
So in putting this campaign together, if someone were to sit down with you, if you were going door to door right now, and you came to my door and I said, well, what are you going to do then when you get into office? How are you going to work with the other folks on the council, and what's your first few goals that you're going to tackle when you get there?
Downtown's a big one for me. I currently sit on the Urban Renewal Agency, and we are doing a huge project downtown. We're spending millions of dollars on infrastructure to get that up and going and to be vibrant again. That's one of my big big issues that I want to tackle.
We can see that driving down Main, where it looks like you would think you might be in Sun Valley with the way the trees and the shops are all set up
hmm
there.
It's all going to be different. All going to be different.
And to revive downtown, I guess the view is if you get the core going again, you could maybe spread that out because the south side seems to have been a little neglected in all of this
hmm
growth.
That's right. Yeah, we'll start with Main is going to be torn up. The alleys are going to be torn up, and City Hall is going to be moved downtown. It's going to be great when it's done. Um, we're going to have to be patient and watch it happen. But once it's done, it's going to be amazing.
And you're a businessman too.
I am. Yes, yes. I moved here 10 years ago. Bought an insurance agency. I just sold that just over a year ago, and I'm now a general contractor.
Wow, that's quite a change.
It is quite a change. Yes,
Get your hands a little dirtier.
that's right. As my wife would say, I sold my business to pursue my dream. So
Well, hey, that's if you can do that, that's a great thing. A lot of people have been asking, and I posed this question yesterday to Rebecca Milsoika, um, and we were talking about it a little bit off air. The one issue that gets it's the issue that gets a lot of attention because it's a hot button issue. It's the issue of refugee resettlement here in this community. And I asked Rebecca if she thought it would have a huge impact on the election. Now, my personal view is no. My view is people vote about things like tree removal, sidewalk repairs, snow removal. Does the water come on when they turn on the tap? But as you're going out to campaign events and the like, is it an issue in this election?
it's I haven't seen it that big of an issue. So I might be talking to the wrong people, but for me, it hasn't been. a huge issue.
What do you think the city's role is in this situation?
Um, we just have to do our best to accept those that come and help them assimilate and love them and show them this is a great area to live.
You were telling me too, as well, before we went on air. There's not really anything a city councilor can do about this.
There's not a ton, except, putting up a wall along the canyon so nobody can get in, and that won't do us any good, will it?
Probably destroy the tourism industry.
It will.
We want to mention Neil Christensen as our guest. He is a candidate for Twin Falls City Council. It's 46. That's the first time I've seen that temperature move all morning. So it does look like we will break that 60-degree barrier, perhaps at least 50s before the day is over with. It's 9:12, and if you'd like to reach the candidate while he's in studio, 736-0300, 736-0300. Water management, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Water and wastewater management, too. I remember Don Hall telling me when he got into office, he had to learn a lot about these things, and that really made him an expert in it. But he said it was on-the-job training. And a lot of people out there would say, gee, that's not really a topic that probably gets a lot of people fired up. But we've had 2 calls in the last couple of days on the air about what's going on in Kimberly and how that's going to impact here, because they're floating that bond issue to borrow $23 million. And that's going to impact what we do here when it comes to treatment and the like. And that relationship between the two communities is if you drive down Kimberly Road, sometimes it's tough to tell where one begins and the other ends any longer. So from your perspective, I think Chris, actually it was we had a candidate, not a candidate, we had one of the incumbents in here the other day who's not running for re-election, and Greg Landing was in here, and he was saying that we likely will see a slight increase in bills because of that if we lose Kimberly. Is there a way? I've been thinking about this. Is there a way we could, perhaps, do we have to work with the county on a much larger system? What's the future of that?
Well, Kimberly's a good client of our wastewater system, and if we lose them, it's just a matter of, we have to find another client, maybe another big business or, something to help take up that load. But just like anything else, the more of us there are, the more tax base, the lower the bills are. So it might go up. I don't know. Part of that learning curve that I'm going to have to go through, but it's something that I don't want to do. Nothing that I don't want my water bill to go up or my wastewater bill. So
Right, and but the obvious thing is if you lose them, it may have to.
yeah, it might.
And the thought of the growth that we're going to see around the area, and somebody was saying perhaps we'll see growth out toward Filer, as all of this continues. Would it be perhaps time to sit down with county government and start talking about working a deal with them to create a county-wide system, and then perhaps deal with that versus losing a customer here, gaining a customer there?
Yeah, I think so. It's important to get all of our communities involved because we're all so close. If we all grow together, it's going to be like, the I-15 corridor along Utah. It's all one. I remember growing up. I remember starting in Brigham City, and I thought Brigham City to oh Orem was all one city. But my parents had to explain to me that it was all different. And is it going to be like that eventually? Maybe.
Sure seems to be going that way.
Yeah.
Here's a question for you. Some of the candidates have set up web presences. Do you have something like that you've put together for people to look at?
Just my Facebook page.
Okay, so they can go to Neil Christensen.
It's facebook.com/Neil for office.
Oh, okay, so it's an actual campaign Facebook page.
Yep, it is.
You decided not to mix personal with the campaign.
They're all mixed too. So if
Yeah.
you see something on my campaign page, it'll magically appear on my personal page.
See,
too,
I have
and
that
vice
issue
versa.
with Lance Clow. I never know if I should be sending him the message to his personal page or to his state page because he's got the couple of them set up now, and of course and he'll answer, I guess, messages at both, but it sometimes creates a little confusion with me when I'm trying to do. But you got to understand that's me. I may be the most confused person some days on the planet. For people who are looking to get out on election day, what the first thing they may say is we've got a lot of similarities between a lot of candidates because it's a nonpartisan race.
Mhm.
Greg Landing's comment the other day was it's almost like a primary because so many people have so many similar views. You might have 3 candidates running for a seat. They may agree on 8 issues and maybe only disagree on 2 issues.
Yeah.
So if they come across you and they're going to say, well, why should I change horses now and go with Neil Christensen versus Chris Talkington?
Well, I'm a fresh pair of eyes. Chris Talkington's been there for a long time. Um, I've got a lot of economic development experience on the Urban Renewal Board. I'm on other boards like Business Plus, and both of these boards have been instrumental in attracting businesses to our town. Um, talent growth is, or talent attraction is something that's very important to me as well. Um, we're getting to the point where our unemployment is so low that each company is stealing from one another and can't find anyone else. So we need to attract more people here so that we can fill those jobs and have good high paying jobs for us all.
We have really two things going on with that too, I guess. You've got competition right now for unskilled labor because of the building boom that's going on. Number two, because of the building boom, you have a need for a lot of professional workers, and we may not have nearly enough in that category to fill those jobs as well.
That's right. We need to do our best to market our town and attract them and get them here. Show them how great a quality of life that we have here in Twin Falls. I mean, you're new here. What do you think so far?
It's almost crime free. I mean, at least compared to where else I've lived. So that appeals to me.
Yeah, it's wonderful, especially for people that love outdoors. I mean, we really do have it all. You can be down in the canyon rock climbing within 10 minutes from just about anywhere you work or on the river, or you can be skiing or snowboarding within an hour and a half in the wintertime. It's a great area.
Now the chamber does a lot of the promotion. Could we put together some sort of splashy commercial that could be YouTube and on television? Would it benefit the city to actually put together a production like that, pay for it, and pay to advertise the city maybe throughout the western states to see if we could draw?
And I believe so, and things like that have been done. Southern Idaho Economic Development Organization, CEDU, they just put an ad in, I believe it was American Airlines for this month, and it just showcases Southern Idaho, which is amazing. And they've been able to do that. The chamber's done things like that. Should the city have somebody specifically in charge of that? I think so. I think eventually we should have somebody like that.
I was going to say we got about 30 seconds to go. For the people listening, if there's any one last thing you would tell them prior, it's 11 days away now, and this is going to move fast. What should they know before they go vote?
Uh, wow, vote for me. I'm a great guy. So my wife would say.
That's the best answer so far. Again, and you've lived in the city for 10 years,
Hmm.
so I guess that makes you a regular now.
Yep,
Some of us.
I've been here 10 years. My wife is a lifelong resident. So,
All right. Well, I want to thank you for coming by today, and I've been wishing everybody good luck. I am nonpartisan myself in this race, so willing to talk to anybody who's involved. And again, we'll see you one way or another, I'm sure, on some topic somewhere
yep.
following Election Day. I want to thank Neil Christensen for joining us in studio. Coming up on 920, it's 46. You're listening to Bill Colley, too, as well, on Top Story on News Radio 1310 KLIX and online at newsradio1310.com.